Hi, my name is Jesse Barcelone, and in this video, I am going to demonstrate how to get OpenVAS working. So if you've already tried to get it working and you're having some issues, the first thing you need to do, if you have it running at the moment, is close the browser and to stop it. And the command to do that is to type GVM stop. That's only if you have it running. If you haven't done anything, then you're good. You don't need any command. But we do need to update the feed. And I'll update my feed using the following command. And I'll also talk about why we need to do that. You're going to type GVM -feed -update. And that will update all 4 of the feeds. I'll let that run, and then I'll talk about why we need to do this. Well, when you log into your OpenVAS system, typically what you're going to see when you click on the feed is a date, and I can show you an example of that right now. So you can see this is an example of an OpenVAS, and you click administration and feed. You don't have to do this right now. I'm just showing you. When you do that, you're going to see dates for the version. So the version is basically the year, the month, and the day. We have currently an older version, and literally, if the university would have updated this last week, it could still be an older version. So we want to get the current latest vulnerability information, so when we do our scan, it's completely worthwhile. So that's why that information's updating. While that updates, I'll tell you some more things as well. Okay. So once we get done, you're actually going to see it's actually going to say current under administration feed. Right now we're updating it. So we were in a place where it wasn't the latest version, and then it will get to a state current. Then what's going to happen is actually going to say updating again, even though it is current. It's not because it's not done updating. It's just that the database is being rebuilt right now while we upload all these definitions. Nessus is similar. If you've used that commercial vulnerability scanner, they need to have all this information and the latest updates. So this is a common thing. This is normal. We're just going to let this finish, and then we're going to go in and log in. And then after we log in, we'll hopefully see current, and then after that, it's still going to take a little while. And I can later on actually can show you the top command, and you can see that this is GVMD, that process, as well as a database process in the background are running. So it's just catching up, getting everything it needs. That's all. So this is normal. While that happens, I wanted to just talk to you about some of the things that can happen. So we're scanning to look at systems to see if they have out-of-date applications or an operating system, etc. So here's something interesting. If you were to find the latest version of Apache, let's do that. Latest version of Apache. Okay, so the latest version is 2.446. So maybe your organization is running Apache 2.1. So I'm going to Google that. And so look at what happens when I just Google and I'm trying to look up information about my application software. And here we go. We see exploits and vulnerability. So this is part of the reason that we update systems, because there can be exploits for older versions of the software. So here's something interesting that I was told by some various hackers that I know, and that is one thing that they will often do, say this is the latest version, there's no vulnerabilities, there's no known exploits for it. What a company will often do, or organization, what a hacker might do is they might keep like an Excel spreadsheet of the organizations maybe that they're targeting, say for example UMGC, and list the versions of the software that they have. So they say 2.4146. So then all of a sudden, 6 months down the road from now, a vulnerability it is reported, and there's a publicly released exploit, or maybe the exploit isn't publicly released. Maybe it's private or for sale or on the dark net or something. But anyway, once the exploit's released, then basically, especially if it's public, it's a race condition that you need to go in and patch your systems. And patching it sounds easy, but a lot of times, when you update to the latest version of software, that actually breaks things for you. So it's a constant game of cat and mouse in cybersecurity, and it's good for us because it leads to a lot of jobs, right? So you have to have people to upgrade to the latest version. You have to have people scanning and saying this version is vulnerable. There's all types of job roles here, also we can get our web server running. So Apache, just on a side note, is actually web server software. You'll typically see it on Linux. It's actually on your Kali Linux. It actually can run on Windows as well, although typically you'll see people running the default Windows version of the web server, which is IIS, or Internet Information Services. But regardless, once an exploit becomes public, a perfect example of that is, some of you may heard of Eternal Blue, which is an exploit for Windows. And basically that was actually developed as an offensive weapon at NSA. And that exploit got leaked by a group called the Shadow Brokers. And once it did, Microsoft released a patch for it. So, and there's actually an exploit within Metasploit, the publicly available exploit. So that's an example of why this is important. So in the meantime, this all the updates are running in the background. I'm going to pause the video, and after the updates finish, then we will actually go ahead and go and launch OpenVAS. We still won't be fully ready, because even after we get current, there still takes some time for the database to sync. And the other thing, you will see there's one file in here in particular. It's a dictionary file. I believe it takes quite a long time to download. So I'm just going to pause this while this continues, and then we'll circle back in a few minutes here. Hi, everyone. My updates are still downloading. I wanted to tell you, this is the particular file that I was talking about, the dictionary file that takes quite a while. As you can see, you can look at the percentages of how much of it's done uploading, only 27%. That file takes a little while, so just be patient, and we'll have all the latest definitions shortly here. As you can see, this file is still being downloaded. It's quite large, but have some patience, and we'll have everything shortly, and then we'll open up the vulnerability scanner, and then after that we will make sure everything's set so we can do our scan. Okay, I came back because, as you can see, the definitions are almost finished. After that, I don't think it takes too much longer to get the rest, but we'll see. Okay, I told you it wouldn't be much longer. Now that's done. Now we can go ahead and start OpenVAS. To do that, I can clear the screen here by typing clear. And then I can type GVM-start. Okay. Now, if you do this and you wait a few seconds, your browser will actually open. If you want, you can also right click here and select open link, and then Firefox will open. You are supposed to let all the services start before you go in there and start messing around. Okay, I'm having some patience and waiting for the browser to open. Okay, the browser just opened. That's the port that OpenVAS uses by default, 9392. I'm going to click here and I'll go into settings. And then you can go into, we can actually pull the password out of here for the admin account. Is all you need to do is go to privacy and security. Then you'll see save logins down here. Scroll down a little further. The system's doing some heavy lifting right now, so. All right, save logins. I have two. I have this right here. That's what I want. I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna click copy and it'll say copied if you do it correctly. It did. Okay, I'm gonna log in as admin and paste that password. There, I pasted it. Okay. Log in. Let's see what happens. And I'll save it. Yep. Definitely save that. Okay, if I go to administration and feed status. Trying to get there as quickly as I can so you can see that it temporarily displays current, but it's not going to have that for long anyway. Okay. So yes, at some point it does current, and then what's going to happen is it's going to say update in progress, and we are going to have to wait until this finishes. You can see my time down here. I'll actually come back to this later, but you can actually type in here because all this is done and running. But if you wanted to type top, you can see that this process is running and it's taking a significant amount of the CPU and the memory. So it's updating this database, and that's what's happening. And while that happens, we just have to wait because, you know, it's a pretty complicated program. So you have to hit Q to get out of top. You can minimize your terminal. This is probably going to log out or whatever, but I'm going to keep an eye on this and pause the video. And then when it comes back and it says current for good and it's done doing updates, then we're going to go ahead and do our scan. So let me pause the video and I'll be back. Okay, a few minutes have gone by. I still see update in progress. As long as I see that message, I am not going to be able to run my scan because the database is still syncing up. I also wanted you to know that although this might be slightly different from you, that actually matches today's date for me. So that tells me I am closer to getting to where I need to be, because now the database is updated. But as you see, that's the database. Oh, I just hit down. That GVMD, that's the actual application, and GraphQL is the actual database that it's writing to. So those things are very busy at the moment. That's a lot of CPU and memory. We need to let them finish. And then once it's done, you'll get a current message. We can do our scan and we can be on with what we need to do. So remember to get out of top. If you were in here, you just hit Q and that takes you out of top. All right, thanks. And I'm going to pause the video while this continues to update. Hi, I'm unpausing the video. This is perfectly normal. The update is still in progress, even though I have the latest version of the database. If you wanted to come down here and click on your terminal and run the top command, you can see that the database and GVMD are still taking a lot of resources. Everything's being written, caught up. That's a lot of CPU right there. A lot of memory being used. So let's let that finish. I'll come back in a few minutes here. Okay, I just want you to know while I was watching the screen and doing some other things, it did log out. That's normal. You can click log in again. I'm still at the feed status page. You can also refresh it if you want, but it will tell you when it's current. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again. Hi, everyone. Just checking in, letting you know the update is still happening. It's fine. We want to have the latest definitions when we scan for our organization to make sure that everything's fully patched and up to date and there's no vulnerabilities. Okay, I'm still waiting. At this point, it's taken about 30 minutes. You just need to, work on other things or keep coming back and checking once in a while. Wouldn't be a bad idea for you to run the top command, because if your system sits idle for about an hour, it may actually disconnect. So if you look here, I see the database stuff still running and taking a lot of CPU. So I'm going to let that finish. I'm confident it will finish for me. I'm confident it will finish for all of you. And at some point here, it will say current. So just hang in there and we'll check back in soon. Hi, again, my system logged out. I'll click log in again. I'll go to administration feed status just to make sure I have the most current information, which is it's still updating, which is fine. I want to make sure when I scan the organization's assets that we have the latest definitions and make sure we give them an accurate scan with up to the minute information about vulnerabilities. I'm going to pause this recording. I still don't have a database sync here. Just make sure you click on these windows. Don't walk away completely. Walk away for 20-30 minutes at a time. Come back within an hour just to see where it is. I'm looking here. I see database still probably being updated. I'm going to minimize that, let that keep going, and I'm going to wait for this to say current, and I'm be back soon. I have some great news, everyone. I have a status of current and it will stay current. It has all the updates. It's originally should have been current after I ran the feed update command. And then when you come in here, it at least gives you these dates, but then it actually still syncing that database. It's done now. I'm confident we will move on successfully with our scan. Okay. So real quick here, I'm going to bring my Mars window over here and I'm going to copy. We're on the Linux machine. I'm going to copy the Windows desktop. Keep in mind, yours is different than mine. You can go to scans now under tasks. So yes, I'm confident if you go into your administration feed update, you have today's date, which will likely be different than mine, and a feed status of current will work. You can click that little wand there and go to Task Wizard. Then you can erase the localhost IP and paste in that IP, then click Start Scan. It's working. You can see if we scroll down here, the scan is requested. At this point, you have OpenVAS working. Congratulations, and I will stop the video. Thank you for watching.